Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Crypt13, and in today's video, I wanted to give you guys my honest review on Hu Tao. So please bear in mind that this review is a completely personal review for a C0 Hu Tao. So pretty much everything in this video is going to be my own personal opinion. So please keep that in mind. So let's just go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, I think that Hu Tao is an incredibly fun character because her playstyle requires a modicum of brain power. Unlike some of the other top tier characters right now, like Ganyu, where you're just kind of pointing, clicking, and shooting. With Hu Tao, you can dodge moves with your charged attacks, but don't get this confused with iframes. I just mean that you can use it to position yourself so that you get out of the way of moves. Staying below 50% HP also takes some practice and is a little bit hard to do if you're just starting playing with her. Timing your burst to get the full damage also requires good timing and skill because again, you want to stay under that 50% threshold and you want to be careful about not healing too much. So obviously I think you guys can tell, but I like playing characters that are quote unquote hard or difficult instead of characters that are brainless, if you couldn't already tell. And please don't take brainless as an insult. I just mean that it just doesn't take as much thinking power to play those characters. You just kind of build the muscle memory and then you go from there. This is also one of the reasons why I love Beidou and why Beidou is my favorite character in this game. Hu Tao is also a relatively cheap character, but I mean this comparatively to our other 5 stars. So I say this because of artifacts. You can build your Hu Tao with lots of different substats to still get pretty decent damage. It's not all just crit and then attack percent, and attack percent like most other characters. HP, attack, and elemental mastery are all very solid stats to get more damage for Hu Tao. So artifact RNG is not as much of an issue for her. So that's why I consider her a quote-unquote cheap character, because the resin that you're spending is not all just dumped into getting the perfect substats. You can work with what you have, basically. However, her talents are not very cheap because she has a kit that combines both her E-skill and attack combo talents. So you'll have to level them both up, which is expensive. Unlike obviously Ganyu, who only needs to level up her charge attack talent skill. Hu Tao also easily reaches the highest attack stat of any character when compared to all of the other characters with the exact same amount of investment. This is just because of the way that her E-skill works, giving her a boost in attack based on her max HP. So a high attack stat coupled with really good scaling from her burst and charge attacks makes her a pretty deadly amount of damage. Her vaporized damage is absolutely insane and very consistent if you run her with Xingqiu. Her melt burst nukes can also one-shot many bosses with relative ease. So aside from damage and amount of investment, I think that Hu Tao is one of the cutest and has one of the best personalities that I can jive with. She's also got awesome animations, which again is totally my opinion, but I usually never skip them when she's doing her idle animations. I also like that her burst animation is really quick and not a very long cutscene, so it allows me to just get into the action that much quicker. She's also got really cool butterfly effects, and she's got a good English and Japanese voice actor. I think that they are both really solid. But all of the positive things aside, I do think she does have some problems. The first of those problems is that she really only has 2 different playstyles, a vaporized focus playstyle and a pure pyro damage playstyle. I don't mention melt because there are no characters in the game right now that can allow Hu Tao to melt as consistently as she can vaporize with Xingqiu. So until a character comes out that allows her to melt as consistently as she can vaporize, I don't think it's as viable as a playstyle. The next problem is that staying below 50% HP is actually a lot harder than you think it might be. One of those problems is because you can accidentally heal yourself if there's too many enemies around you when you pop your ultimate. And then on the flip side of that is you can stay too low on HP because you're not using your burst enough out of fear that you might overheal. But when you do that, you start to lose out on your elemental burst damage. But sometimes you just forget to use it while in your E-skill, and if you pop it outside of your E-skill, then the damage is significantly reduced. So again, the fact that she requires a brain to play is both a plus and a minus For me, it's a plus, but I think it's a pretty common point of contention for many players out there. The next problem is stamina. Since Hu Tao shines so much with her charged attack damage, her C1 really helps out. So it sucks that they locked an important part of her playstyle and damage behind a constellation. Thankfully, it is the first constellation, but a constellation is still a constellation and will either cost you money or massive amounts of luck. Unless of course you saved all your primogems since launch for this very moment. I think what they should have done was give her some kind of way to reduce the charge attack stamina. I think that MiHoYo should have given her a way to reduce the charge attack stamina. Reward the player with some kind of extra damage if they can time her E-skill as a parry, for example. I love parry mechanics if you haven't already noticed, so I do apologize for that. But the point is, they should be rewarding the player if they play Hu Tao very well. And then the last problem that I have with Hu Tao is the fact that her best weapon is the Staff of Homa. There's no doubt about it, not even R5 4-star weapons can beat the R1 Staff of Homa when you have the less than 50% HP buff. Many other characters have 4-star weapons that compete really well when refined 5, and sometimes even beat their R1 5-star options, but not for Hu Tao's weapon, so I consider this a negative because it's a decent chunk of her DPS. For example, an R1 Jade Spear and an R5 Lithic Spear is actually pretty close in terms of damage. So the fact that MiHoYo decided to lock this behind a 5-star weapon is not good. It honestly feels really predatory from MiHoYo, and that's a big no-no from me. And so I'd like to close out this video by answering, should you roll for Hu Tao? Hu Tao is definitely not a must pull, but if you were waiting for her since the moment she was leaked, you have nothing to be worried about because she definitely delivers. She's pretty close up there in terms of damage output with Ganyu, except that I think Hu Tao's playstyle is way more fun and involved. So I think that you should definitely go for her if she interests you, and then save if there's a particular character that you really want. You're not really missing out on anything if you skip. Besides the fact that she is one of the cutest characters in this game besides Klee. So pull if you like and save if you don't. That's pretty much the mantra for this game, and Hu Tao doesn't change that at all. So again, these are all just my opinion, but I am super happy with the character. Definitely one of my favorites, and she's probably going to be the first character that I crown. She's got her problems, but I think most of her positives outweigh them. Anyway guys, I hope this video helped you decide on whether or not you should pull for her or stick with her if you already have her. Alright, that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you guys in the next one.